Taking control of the car buying experience. Demand the most for your money. Here's the Car Buyer Advisor.
And thank you for staying with us through that brief break. So we probably got you on that hook. We have some T&A on the show today. The T and A stands for Tim Anderson for T&A Performance LLC, off-road and diesel performance. A first-time guest on our show. We're going to take a little time introducing this new business to our group of endorsed businesses in our community. So please welcome to the show Tim Anderson, owner of T&A Performance LLC, off-road and diesel performance.
Mitch, thank you very much. It's nice to be here and an honor to be asked to be here.
Thanks for accepting our invitation. The diesel industry as a whole, there's so many truck owners. I mean, Northern Nevada's truck country, and many of those are diesel trucks. You work on both. We're going to get to that. And then you do all of the custom fabrication. Let's start, before we really get into everything you do at T&A Performance, with a little history of yourself, historical background in the industry. What made you decide to become an entrepreneur and open your own shop in Sparks over there?
You know, I first started in the automotive fabrication world when I was about 16 years old. And so ever since I was a little kid, my grandpa tells the story every time of me building a ramp for the lawnmower when I'm 8 years old so he can pull it into his shed, and he tells everybody that story. But I've always had a passion for building things, working with my hands. You know, I've been roughly in the industry about 15 years now. I originally started out in the Class 8, which are the over-the-road trucks, and found out that, you know, there was just not enough. Actually, what happened was at my house, my neighbors would come and ask me, hey, you know, I can't find anybody that I trust to work on my vehicle. Would you mind doing it? And this, basically, T&A Performance started out of my garage. And it was for about 3 years, and it got to the point where I started hiring people to work, and we'd work a full day at our normal job. And, you know, I'd work till 1, 2, 3 in the morning sometimes, wake back up, go to my regular job. And at that time, I worked for a municipality around town here. And the one thing I couldn't stand over there was the word, "it's good enough." That word does not exist to me. It's either done the right way or we won't do it. My reputation is more important than any amount of money that anybody could give me. I don't do it for the money. I do it for the pleasure of it. And I've got a real good group of guys down there with me that they're enthusiasts. They love doing it, and that's how we operate.
Well, what's interesting is that philosophy you have. It's just the core fundamental value of your business is that, you know, your ethics, your standards, your quality, those things are just not for sale. And yet, though the commitment to that quality, the money comes with that. And many shops think, oh, if we do it this way, we shortcut it that way, we can increase profits, increase bottom lines. And the long run is the owner retention in that style is not a long-term business model. Your business model is one of core values and ethics and a commitment to your name and your reputation. It's one of the reasons why we've asked you to join our group. As a matter of fact, I'll even make this announcement publicly. I was talking to you last night about being a regular on our show because so many of our community members have diesel trucks and trucks, and we really want to make sure that they get the information and the knowledge to navigate through that side of the industry. But that's how good you are and why we've asked you to be with us. Let's talk about the things you specialize in at T&A Performance, off-road and diesel performance.
And the first announcement I want to make is I couldn't do it without my staff that I have there. It's not just a one-person gig. It's all of us coming together. And without them, I wouldn't be able to do what we're all to do there. And it's a team effort.
I got to say something here because I'm a person, I read a lot between the lines when I'm talking with people, especially business owners. And we were talking before I even explained where I'm going with this, that you also have a passion for community involvement as well. It's not that you came on the show to share that, but we were talking about it, and I want our community to hear it.
Yeah, we do a lot with the Mule Deer Foundation, the Elk Foundation that's in town. I think we'll actually be going to a different foundation next year, but we just recently had the Northern Nevada Mule Deer Association dinner, and we, for the first time in about 5 years, we actually did extremely well in it. And we donate a lot of products to wounded warriors, vets. If you come into my shop, make sure that you mention, if you're in law enforcement or if you're in public service or anything like that, if you're Marines, we have a special rate for those type of people. And I give back to my community, and I try to keep my money as local as I can as well.
Well, now what I was going with on this, and now that I had you share that, what has historically been evident in finding quality businesses is that you have quality people with core values. They care about their staff. They care about their community. And if all of those things line up, then as a consumer, they have a chance about caring about you. If you take those out of the equation, folks, I really want you to hear this. If you take that out of the equation, if they don't really care about their value, their employees, they don't really, and the community is meaningless to them, and it's all about greed and money, what do you mean to them? I mean, that is reading between the lines and understanding the business model that goes into the selection of businesses that we're willing to endorse. It's a full package. It's quality people committed to a community and that appreciate the fact that you're only as good as your staff. And that is exactly why you're able to be on a show like this, is it's the full package. I want to get back into some of the stuff that people can bring to you, because I think by now they're probably going, wow, a really great business owner, but let's talk about the stuff they can bring to you. What do you specialize in at your shop?
What we really specialize in are all the Ford diesels, Duramax diesels, Cummins, pretty much all the light-duty diesel side. We're slowly branching off into the Jeep Liberties with the diesels. We're having a lot of customers saying that they're having a hard time finding people to work on them. And that know anything about them, and we're starting to finally get some info and classes going for my guys to be able to do those. But pretty much the bread and butter of the Ford, Chevy, and Dodge pickup trucks that have the diesel engines in them.
Well, and one of the things is you pulled up today to the studio in just an extraordinary custom fabricated, lifted, SEMA style monster, massive truck. So let's talk about what you do in the other side of fabrication and performance enhancement as well.
Yeah, the one funny thing with that truck, if you would have seen it when I got it, it rolled down a hill 8 times. I bought that as a total wreck. The cab was crushed in. We bought from Jones West Ford, bought a cab right off the assembly line and did a frame off restoration on that one.
Well, you'd have to see this truck. Now, I hope they go to your Facebook. You have this on your Facebook.
I think it's on there, yeah.
And or they have to just come by your shop and see this. Yeah. If you want to see an absolutely stunning, show-stopping truck, I did not know that story. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's some custom stuff, and it's nice. It's not. I don't know if it's SEMA worthy, but it does the job for me. So, but the one philosophy too that we take when we get a vehicles car, and it's not only diesel vehicles we work on, it's pickup trucks. If any gas motors, we're set up for all the Triton engines, all the LS engines, all the Dodge Ram Hemis, all that kind of stuff. We do everything on there. But the one thing that I want to let people know, that when a truck comes in, somebody once told me, you treat people the way they want to be treated. And I got to thinking about that, and you know what? I don't agree with that. I treat people the way that I want to be treated. And how I look at it is if whenever a vehicle shows up, it is now my truck, and it's now my pocketbook. So I take that into consideration when we're fixing it. If we're right next to something and it doesn't take any more labor time, and all it's a difference of a part, I'm going to call the customer up and say, hey, you need to change this part right here because we're here. There's no labor. I'm not making anything off it. We just need to put this part in here. That way I don't have to get you back in here again 500 times to do the job. We want to do the job right the first time and then see you for, services if you want, but we do the job right the first time.
You're after building relationships more than lining your pockets. In many cases,
exactly it.
We've actually had shows about this, and you may or may not have heard them. But one of our shows was on that conversation that many shops will be right there next to something. They'll put it back together, and then they'll give you an estimate for that repair, not telling you they were right there already, so that they can then sell it to you on your next visit or just down the road. Or you just go ahead and authorize it now, and they really were already right there and didn't even tell you that there really was no more labor.
Unfortunately, that happens a lot in this industry, and it's a shame. It really is a shame.
Well, it's those little things that people don't know that cause them to have that whole feeling about the industry in general. And I really want to thank you for taking your time out of your day and your busy shop, because this is not a shop that is lacking for opportunity. I tried to get a hold of you yesterday, and there was absolutely no getting you on the phone until after 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
So this is a very sought-after, desired, busy shop as it is. They're here because they really want to make a difference in the industry, in our community, into the quality of products, goods, and services. And I want to get into some of that real quick if we can. Some of the things that you do. I want to talk about this BG air induction service that you offer. I want to give people an idea of some of the things that you offer there of real value to our community that they may not have heard of.
If for the customers out there that drive any 03 through 07 Ford Super Duty that has the 6.0 diesel in it, or even in the E-Series vans, it's a little different in the E-Series vans, but it runs from 03 to 2010. 6.0s run in the vans, and some people, they don't have the highest, the best reputation out there. But it really comes down to maintenance. What we offer it's called a BG air induction service. What we do, and a problem with the 6.0s, is that they end up, and it's not actually just the 6.0s, it's any vehicle, gas or diesel, that runs an EGR system. But what happens is there is so much, we're taking all the black soot that's coming out the tailpipe and we're shoving it right back in the engine. And what happens is that carbons up throughout the whole intake, through the runners of our cylinder head, on the back of our valves, everywhere on there. So you'll read a lot of forums, they'll say pull the valve out, clean it, put it back in, and you're good to go. Well, you're not good to go, because everything that's on that valve is throughout the whole intake runner. So we chemically will liquefy the carbon out of it. So that way we don't have to spend the 12, 15 hours of labor to pull it apart. We'll actually liquefy the carbon out of it, and we burn it off. And we go in through a couple different ways. If they're interested in the process, we've got it published actually in it's a Power Stroke Registry, I think, and we had it published in 2008, and we've had tremendous success with it. But pretty much we offer 100% money back guarantee if you do not notice a power improvement, if you do not notice a fuel economy improvement. I mean, I stand behind it that much.
Well, and you just mentioned one of the registry publications that you featured in. You're also have been featured and being featured coming up in the near future in a national publication. Let's talk about that.
Oh, we have several articles in Diesel World, Diesel Power, Pro Pickup. There's articles that we do for a lot of companies. A recent one was for Mitch at Titan Fuel Tanks. What we're seeing on the 99 through 2010 cab chassis versions of the Super Duty. So the customers that have a normal looking bed on their truck, they don't have to worry. It's typically the guys that have flatbeds on it or something, a construction truck. They have an aft fuel tank or a rear style fuel tank, and it's steel, and it's sprayed inside with some type of a lacquer based liner to protect against rust when it's in there, because all diesel fuel has water in it. Well, over the years, we didn't have a problem with the liner stripping out of the inside of the tank. So it actually starts flaking off of the inside of the tank. You go to change the primary fuel filter, and it looks like glitter in your hand or all over the filter. That's the indication that you've got a delaminating tank in there. But since the introduction of this ultra low sulfur diesel fuel, which is really hard on these vehicles, and the vehicles, first of all, aren't designed to run on this fuel or the CJ4 oil that's out there either. But we're finding out the fuel is actually stripping the liner out of the inside of the tank. So there's a company called Titan Fuel Tanks makes an aftermarket tank to replace that, to fix that problem.
And you can get this products in the B&G Air Induction Service at T&A Performance LLC, Off-Road and Diesel Performance. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. That's Tim Anderson. Tell them how they can get a hold of you, and we hope to have you back on a regular basis.
Yeah, you can get a hold of us at 358-5549. We're at 525 Spice Islands Drive. And we also have a website. It's at then spell out and a performance.com.
Again, Tim Anderson, T&A Performance LLC, Off-Road and Performance. Thank you, Diesel Performance. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.